Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Mystical Mindstate. This is my first ever video, and it's really an extension of my website, mysticalmindstate.com. What I'm hoping to do here is lock down what mysticism is. Not necessarily in specific terms, as I'm sure a lot of you have your own ideas and concepts, and that's perfectly fine. I personally feel that spirituality and mysticism is very, very subjective. So any experience that you've had, should never be undermined by anyone. Nobody should ever make you feel like it's not important or not real, or your near-death experience or your concept of God is wrong. Because that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to divide and conquer. We're not here to argue. Human beings at their core are love. We are light and love. Mystical experience is the awakening that we go through. It's when we awaken to the conscious contact that we have with the God of our understanding, as they say in AA, the God of our own hearts, the divine presence within, God, Elah, Allah, Yahweh, El Shaddai. It doesn't really matter, the Tao. Any of these terms will do. If we're talking about the ebb and flow of life that exists in all things, it really doesn't matter to the divine what we call it. A lot of people will try and define God and understand God, and as somebody that is pretty adamant about following the Hermetic principles, I find that to be a futile effort. Your finite mind cannot understand God, so why waste your time and energy when it's better placed in learning how to love, learning how to be a more productive person in the lives of the people around you, learning how to help elevate the consciousness of the people you come in contact with. See, my goal with this channel is to help people awaken to the divine presence within. I want people to get turned on by the idea of God existing in all things and all things existing in God. I want people to get excited and actually start looking from whatever field of belief they come from whatever background, scientific, metaphysic, I don't care. If we all start tuning in and looking in that direction, we are going to unearth the truth. And it's a truth we're going to unearth together. That's the only way it's ever going to happen, is if we learn to cooperate with one another. Just because I am a Christian, just because I believe in Jesus Christ, does not mean that I can't sit down with a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Hindu and have a delightful conversation about God and the divine nature of reality. In fact, I'll prove this as we go out throughout all these episodes, because I'm going to do exactly that. A lot of what is going to follow is going to be plays heavily on the Hermetic philosophies, the Sefer Yetzirah, the Kabbalah, ideas found in Eastern mysticism, as well as alchemy of old. I'm not necessarily talking about the transmutation of baser metals into gold, but the spiritual alchemy of the likes of Bacon, Roger Bacon, or some of the Rosicrucian ideologies of vibraturgy and things like that. Because I think that human beings are transforming themselves on a higher level of existence at all times. And what we do in this life cycle matters. What we do is moving us closer and closer towards that perfect state of being where we actually do remember that it's all love. So for me, mysticism is literally just tuning into the divine love in all things and keeping that sense of awe and wonder that we had as children. I find that any breakdown comes from the language barrier and our inability to explain experience in an adequate way. So what happens is you have these people that tune in and they write down their ideas because they want to share them. It's beautiful. They finally tuned it in. They found the secret of the universe. God exists in everything. So they start explaining it through their cultural lens. If you put on pink glasses, you see pink elephants. If you put on blue glasses, you see blue magic. It is what it is. We look through our lens. Culturally and religiously speaking, this is no different. So when this happens and they find this center of the universe that all things are attached to, like I said, Heraclitus would say, it's wisdom to confess that all things are one. Out of the one comes all things come out of the one. They tap into that and they're like, this is the unity at the center of the universe and it's mine. And they start writing it down. People get caught up in those ideas and they're like, yes, yes, yes. And then somebody else who's had the same experience comes along, but they have a cultural spin on it that's different. The two butt heads, and now we're arguing about two sides of the same coin without ever locking down that spiritual experience that happens if we just vibe together. You see what I'm saying? The language gets in the way. It's not your center. It's not his center. It's the center of all creation. It's the center of all things. So there's only one truth, and it exists within us and all things around us. One Tao, one way, one logos. Nothing is a complete and independent interpretation of that. As they say in the East, pratatya samat pada, everything leans. So in this ebb and flow of life, as we're dancing along through this great mystery, maybe we should just center ourselves in the fact that we live in this unity, this universe together. And the least we can do is grow and evolve and move towards a more healthy and positive way of being, not only for our benefits, for the benefits of the people we come in contact with as well. And that way we'll all rise above. That's what I'm hoping to accomplish. That's what I want us to do. I want us to journey along through this mystical experience that is life and find meaning and find a reason that moves us up to a higher plane so future generations can enjoy the same awe and experience that we have. Because these are not new ideas. They're timeless classics. This has always been. And it's up to us to tune in and then enjoy that. And when we find that joy, share it with others that they may find joy in it too. And that way we grow and evolve together. Throughout the ages, we've been given beautiful ideas of what mysticism actually looks like. We've had all sorts of fantastic teachers come. Rav Yeshua, the Prophet Muhammad, Akavadeshka, what we know as the Dalai Lama, Thomas Aquinas, Albert Magus, mystic poets like Khalil Gibran, all these fantastic teachers that have came and given us these jewels of wisdom and ways to live our lives that have enhanced our value, not only by the things that they say and the lessons that they left us, but by the way they lived their life. Like, you can actually see these guys because they eat, sleep, and breathe spirituality. They live what they talk about. And it's really special when you come across these sorts of people, you know. And I think that it's important for us to remember that as long as we're looking for division, we'll find division. As long as we're looking for things that are the same, we'll find things that are the same. Like Henry David Thoreau said, it's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see. So when we talk about mystical experience, and the reason that mystics are able to look past a lot of that social divide we see in religion and sectarianism, it's because, well, they're in tune with God. They're certain of themselves. They know their belief is right. They know that they're in tune with it. So they're not offended by your interpretation of it. And at the end of the day, they don't really care how you interpret it as long as you put it into action. Because as Thubten Yishi would say, if your religion doesn't bring you lasting happiness and make you a better person, then you're better off with the Pepsi. Because at least that quenches your thirst. I love it. I mean, when was the last time you were really in awe of life? When you just looked at everything as if it was beautiful, looked through the eyes of a child and were like, what's that? Oh my goodness, that's the coolest thing ever. When was that? Think back to that moment. What's changed? What's made us so jaded? What have we fallen out of contact with that has brought us so much distress? We're looking through the lens again. We're looking at the world as this desolate, dark place. Like, if you look at the world that way, it's going to appear that way. Put on the pink lenses, see pink elephants. Put on the blue lenses, see blue magic. It is what it is. So we are what we focus our attention on, right? That's one of the first things that mystics learn. So we learn to shift our attention from the things that are wrong and start looking for the things that are right. That's why even psychologists agree with this concept of using affirmations every morning to make yourself develop more self-esteem. Say, I am valuable, I have value, I have the ability to create, all my desires can come true because I have the strength to do this. It's what we call manifestation in mystical circles, but psychology recognizes this bit of polarity. This is an old mystical thing that we're talking about here. Is as your vibe changes, your tribe changes. As you grow and as you evolve, the people and places and things around you that seemed so dark and desolate before change into something beautiful, into something that has meaning. You start finding God in the most mundane things, like the way a leaf falls out of the tree. Look at the cosmic design and how beautiful it is. Your life has meaning. Every step you take from that day forward is actually moving you towards something greater. That is what mysticism is. It is awakening to the awe in all things, to admire the beauty of the world we live in, and to see love and laughter and life in everything that we look at. That is what mysticism has to offer, and that's what I'm hoping we can do. I'm hoping we can journey towards that together. I thank you for your time. Also, do me a solid and don't forget to like and subscribe. Look, I'm a real approachable cat, man. I'm on all these different social media sites right here. You can literally hit me up on any one of these with any kind of question and I'll chop it up with you. We can go down through there. I'm humble. I love doing this. This is how I give back to the community. This is what I do. Please feel free to hit me up on any one of these and I'll get up with you. All right, thank you so much for your time. Peace be with you all.